The Live Healthy Louisville podcast is brought to you by Results by Design Fitness, and we're back. We're here at RXD again for episode 3 and part 2 of this series with Coach Josh, as we are talking about the youth athlete, and we kind of segued into how someone might discover their why. So Coach Josh, thank you for coming back for part 2. I want to do part 2 of your why. At the end of the previous episode, we got to the point in which you were starting to dig into your why as a coach, but also as someone who lives a healthy lifestyle. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about why you have your why.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So last time before we, had some unfortunate situations happen, we were just talking about what my why is, and it's my family, right? It's so important, right, to have those supporting roles around you and to be that supporting role for somebody. And that's something that I've always cherished. Been a part of team cultures, right? Thankfully have had a supportive family, and always push me to be the best, individual I can be. So I want to do that for somebody. So my why doesn't stop at my door. My family doesn't stop at my door at home. It extends into these people around me. It extends in here at Results by Design Fitness. Everybody that I can communicate with and talk with and help guide them on their journey, on their roadmap, that's something that I'll hold on to forever. So,
yeah, and I get to see that live and in action. Here at RXD, we have the opportunity to walk a lot alongside someone throughout their fitness journey, whatever that looks like. And people come from different aspects of life. They come from a different starting point with fitness. Yep. But all in all, they have a purpose. They have a why. They have something they want to accomplish, or life experiences they want to have in the future. And I get to see you take people on that journey step by step. And I also got to see you go on a heck of a journey this year, last month. And I think that's right up your alley as far as your why.
It is, yeah. So that was a big goal of my wife and I, that we want to see the world, right, before we have the opportunity of expanding our family a little bit more. We want to cherish each other and spend these moments with each other. So we're very thankful to have had the opportunity to make a big trip. This is one of the biggest trips we've ever had. We got to go see Italy and the Greek Isles and things like that. But man, I'll tell you what, those old roads and those pavements, those are rough on you. So
you took a lot of steps.
I think we averaged over like 26,000 steps a day.
That's awesome.
So it was something where I was grateful to be in that moment with her, but I was grateful for the opportunity that I was able to be in the moment with her. Right. Physically, like we walked a lot. We had to endure the heat. We were moving constantly, multiple hours on our feet. So there's a lot of people around us that have those similar goals, that want to see the world, that want to go to these challenging places, that want to do these obstacle courses around here in Louisville. So for us to take that and help them reach that level is just super important to me, because that's exactly where I'm at in my life.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing I really appreciate about everyone that's a coach here in particular, and many of the people that I look up to in this industry, is you don't see a whole lot of, bench pressing or heavy squats or max effort deadlifts on your profile. You see life experiences. And people know that you live the lifestyle as far as a coach, and as far as, putting into your body what you're supposed to, and as far as putting in the effort, 3 to 4 hours a week in the gym. But they see what fitness allows you to do. And I think that's the most exciting part for me, is being able to see and show what that looks like. There's so many different unrealistic expectations when it comes to fitness. You have the influencers, and you have the models and whatnot, that show you that this is the box that you have to fit inside of. And we want to show that there's a better way. Changing the way that fitness is done. I believe we have great programming, but I also believe that we preach fitness in the right way. And that allows people to be experienced those things as well. And that's kind of my why as well. I enjoy going out and doing things. I enjoy being able to go on hikes, get to the top of a mountain and take a look out.
We've seen a lot of those, yeah.
And I enjoy being able to, if someone asks me, to go do something, to not have to think twice about it. And that's something that I aspire to be able to do in my 40s and 50s and 60s as I go through the aging process. I want to continue to be healthy and happy and experiencing life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And
it's funny you say that in your previous statement when we're talking about why. It just runs so much more deeper.
It does.
Than my why is I want to squat, this amount of weight.
Right.
Well, why do you want to do that?
I want to lose 15 pounds.
What makes it so important?
Yeah.
We can come out here and we can lift whatever we lift, but if we can't apply it to real world or something that brings some emotion out, like what is the point?
Yeah, why is that important to you?
Why is it? So the river runs deep when it comes to a why.
It does. It does. And we predominantly work with 45 to 65-year-old, mostly female, and the majority of those people want to feel better, they want to look better, they want to perform better.
Yep.
And what does that mean? Well, they might want to fit in some clothes a little better, they want to experience life, they want to be able to keep up with their kids and experience life to the fullest. And
absolutely.
we get to see that on a daily basis. So how does your why, you're a family-oriented guy. You want to be able to experience life with your family, but also push your family, whether it's your immediate family, your future kids, or the people in this gym, to experience life to the fullest themselves. How does your why make you a better coach?
Well, I'll tell you this. The industry that we are in is a very emotional one. So when you're dealing with people that haven't necessarily hit these areas before or never even touched a weight or never thought about participating in a training program, there's a lot of emotions that are tied into it.
100%.
So being an individual to, pour into somebody that I feel that I have this special talent, let's call it, to relate to somebody. That's just something that I feel comfortable talking to somebody about. When we just start their journey, to see them progress through motivates me even more. So my why, as I want to build my family, the brand new person we have come through these doors, this is the start of an emotional journey, but it's one that we can continue to tether together. So I'm growing my family, you're hitting your goals, it motivates me, I want to continue to motivate you. So that's one reason why my why kind of motivates me to be a better coach, but an even better person, because there's a lot of trust that you have to develop with somebody that is scared starting something like this. So when we talk about a why and how deep it runs, you just don't know until you start to see those layers open up with somebody.
Yeah.
So
you're building that relationship.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And another powerful component of that is the ability that you have to connect with someone who has not had fitness in their life, but then someone who has, and kind of bridge that gap.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter the age.
Yeah.
We want to take you, we want to walk alongside your journey with you. And everyone needs someone to be able to do that. And I think the biggest thing that I see in your coaching style is that resonates with the majority of our population, like we talked about, which is adults, but then also it resonates with the kids, because our athletes, or even our kids that don't play any sports, they need a why to grip onto when it comes to fitness as well, because having that why is important, and it spreads beyond just the ultimate goal. Like we might have a softball player that wants to play softball in college, but what is the why with their softball? They might be 13 years old.
Right.
We can't play college softball for another 5 years.
Right.
So why are we playing our sport currently? Why are we getting into the gym currently? Is it because it elevates our game currently? Are we even having fun in the game? How do we find a way to have fun? How do we have do you enjoy your time with your teammates? What is your why? So I think that's an important component that you're able to help instill in those kids, because you teach them that there's a better way. It doesn't have to be driving yourself into the ground every single workout. It can be something that allows you to feel better, because if you feel better during your games, do you think that's going to affect your performance? Absolutely. Then we can start to take those steps necessary to becoming a college softball player one day, using that example. So how do you help a parent see that? How do you help a kid see that? Because it seems like nowadays, especially at a young age, it's become like this AAU, almost like serious professional sport at such a young age, and it's crazy. So how do you help educate?
Well, the first few things that we try to knock out, right, is there's parents that come to us and they say, hey, so and so needs this, 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 and this. I'm like, great. We're gonna do what we do. We're gonna develop some baselines. We're gonna see how they move, how well they move, where we can improve. What are the red flags? What's preventing them from getting to that level? But also, I can tell your kid, and we can do everything we can do. We can get them to be the strongest. We can get them to, have the best technique. But outside those doors, I can't be there with them. So it's not a 1-1 here. This is a 1-2-3 conversation, right? So when we are told to do this and this with the athlete, it can't stop at the doors. Mom, dad, guardian, parent, you got to help us out too. Yeah. You got to be the one that lays the foot down at home when the kid wants to slack off on a meal, or that resorts to the junk food and things like that might set them back a few steps. Foot needs to come down. Hey, no, you got a competition this weekend. You need to drink your water, and we got to get a good meal in. Or if you're in between games, matches, if you're a high performer and you don't fuel your body correctly, right? If you got a diesel engine and you're putting regular unleaded gas in it, that thing's gonna blow up, right? So it's one thing to educate a child, but we try to reach the parents and educate them as well, right? Like we said in the last episode, we want to champion every athlete, and one of the greatest compliments we ever gotten was champion the female athlete, and that's from parents that are actually bought in with us.
Yeah, that 100% is the truth, because we can only do so much by pouring into your child here, but we need you on board.
Yep.
And it becomes more of a family as a whole discovering their why, because sports is only going to last so long. I was talking to one of our athletes here last week, and he's 16 years old, and I said, man, the crazy thing is even if you're in the top of your game at the ultimate competitive level, you're only guaranteed 10 years at the most, and that's if you're a top 1% and you play professional for a few years, right? The reality is, most don't play into college, and most don't play out of college,
right?
Even fewer.
It's a very small percentage.
So, and we're looking at maybe 6 years left for this athlete. What happens after sports? That's what I want to help instill for those families, and I know you feel the same way, is how do we discover a why currently that helps elevate their performance on the field, but also helps create a healthy lifestyle that's sustainable, so that past competition, past sports, we can continue to be a healthy family together. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times that we see, just take a look around. You see on social media, you see out here in the real world, past sports, people just lose their identity. Yep. And it's super sad, man. But if we can help them discover what that why is, what their purpose is, because I enjoy life. I work out in the gym and I eat the right things. I put the right things into my body, and it helps me feel better. It helps me perform better on the field. It also helps me have great energy, so I have more fun with my friends. Yep. Oh, and now, guess what? After competition in sports is over with, we have someone living healthy and happier in their 20s and 30s, and then reapplying that belief system into their own families one day. Yep. That is the why with fitness, and absolutely that's what it should be, which is exactly what you preach. Yeah, and look, take it from somebody that's been through those situations. I've lived a life of team sports and playing football my whole career. It was a part of me. And when I found it necessary time to step away, I thought I would just adjust back into normal, some normacy, and I couldn't find that. It was hard. So for me to dig deep and find out what is going to get me out of bed in the morning, that was a long road and a long journey. So when I discovered what I wanted to do, that lit another fire in me. So when you lose yourself, it takes you down dark places. You don't feel comfortable with yourself anymore. You don't know who you are anymore. So finding out something that motivates you again, that just opens up a whole nother door of light, and it gives you a purpose. Yeah, and
So
that's not to say that there's not going to be moments, right, where
Yeah.
where you feel like you get dragged down. I mean, there's injuries in sports, and
Mhm.
there's setbacks in life,
Yeah.
and life throws you curveballs. But if you're clinging to what's important to you, and one of those things that,
Yeah.
if it is important, I believe should be at the top of your list,
yeah,
is fitness and a healthy lifestyle.
yeah, and that was something that, you know, my dad tried to prepare me for. He said, "Hey, bud, what are you going to do? What are you studying?" That was something he always asked me. What's next? So that was something that I was like, I ain't worried about that. And then when the time came, I wasn't prepared. And it took a long time for me to adjust and find that why. So if I have any advice or recommendations to young athletes, is think about what you truly love. Think about that why. If your why is softball, baseball, basketball, if you just want to go out and play with your friends, or if you want to be competitive, why are you like that? What's motivating you? Because it's hard for a kid, because naturally growing up in today's age, especially, there's so much pressure on a kid.
Oh,
There's so much pressure on a kid. So for them, this is something for you yourself to step back from what's happening in the real world, figuring out what's driving you, and let those pressures kind of, not take a hand on this, because this is yours. This is what's driving you. You got practice, school, homework. These are things we went through, but we're finding more and more now that travel teams are playing more frequently. There's more demand for sport right now. So the pressure is real
it's
for
becoming
athletes.
a job for
Yes.
the younger population, especially.
And it's hard to grasp, because we didn't have these experiences. We had travel ball, but you went on weekends and you played and then you went home.
Yeah.
They're playing in the middle of the week, like multiple times, and it's evolved so much that it has become a job. And so you could feel it on a kid. You can see when they're walking in the door, when they are absolutely depleted, when they're emotionally drained, physically drained, or when they're fresh. So
We've had, just thinking of a few conversations I've had over the past week with some of the younger, especially females in the gym. They are put into this, we'll call it the box, like we talked about earlier. They're put into this tiny box of perform this way, so
Mhm.
that you can get to the next level. And there's always, what's next, what's next, what's next? Well, eventually that what's next runs out.
Mhm.
My top advice that I try to give to these kids is, are you having fun? Is it a situation that works out well for you?
Mhm.
And are you creating good relationships? Because that's going to keep you motivated and keep you going. What happens if this job you burn out in it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's next? You're clinging to softball, or you're clinging to volleyball, or you're clinging to basketball, and now all of a sudden you hate being out there, because
Yep.
you've put so much pressure on yourself, and everybody else is putting so much pressure on yourself. When you finish off your games, the first thing that people ask you is, what happened here? You could have done this better. How about
Absolutely.
this? How about, did you have fun? I really enjoy watching you play,
Mhm.
and man, you are a great teammate. You didn't have your greatest day, and those days in life are going to happen, but how did you respond?
Yeah.
You responded in a great way because you love being out there with your friends, because your why isn't connected to your success. Your why is connected to the fact that you love your sport, you love your teammates,
Mhm.
and you want to get better every single day.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's most important for an athlete, is discovering how they get there and that mindset. And I think it starts at the top with the parents and works its way
Mhm.
down. And it
Yeah.
also starts with the coaches in the gym.
Yeah, there's a major difference when it comes to criticism for an athlete. You have supportive criticism, that it's exactly what you said. Hey, these days, we don't expect these days, we don't want these days, but this happens. This is what we need to take a look at. Or it's like, that was just terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Kid goes out and puts their heart into it, and they may not perform as they wanted to, and then they just get shot down again. So that's why a coach and a parent relationship is so important. Motivation has a time and place for certain words, and certain emotions and situations to sit down actually one-on-one, instead of a whole team environment. So when we're talking about an athlete, like sometimes you got to have thick skin if you're going to compete at a top level, and just be able to bear that pressure. So that's why a coach is so important to an athlete as well. So we can make or break a kid's day, season, year, tied to a sport.
Absolutely. They're already putting that pressure on themselves. They already feel that pressure. There's no need for added more, right?
Yeah.
We give them the guidance that they need. We might make little adjustments here and there in the gym while their sports coach is making little adjustments in game or in practice.
Yeah.
And the best thing a parent can do in support of that is to not sit in silence when we have bad games.
Yeah.
To not be the ultimate critic, because sometimes, although mom and dad might know best, sometimes that's not the right circumstance, like you talked about for motivation.
Exactly.
The right circumstance might be, hey, we just didn't have it today, but I still enjoyed watching you play. You were a great teammate. You gave it everything you had out there, and you didn't let the circumstance of you having a bad day affect the way that you went out and you finished the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing with family. I think that's the big thing with discovering your why. And I think that's something you do extremely well.
Yeah.
So here's to continuing on to impact the world as far as developing this mindset of discovering a why. One of the big things that I love is that we get to share these things with the people in our facility. So we have a why wall that people sign, and they write down what is most important to them. We have athletes write down, I want to be better at volleyball and enjoy my last 4 years. We have people that write down, I want to get up and down off the floor and pick up my grandkids.
No, there's some specific ones in there. I mean, somebody's got a paragraph.
Exactly.
Of just like, like it doesn't have to be one sentence, one word. Like let it pour out.
Yeah, and we have a TV on that wall, and it shows a slideshow all day long of different pictures that explain people's whys. People at the tops of mountains looking out at a view. People just simply holding their kids or holding their grandkids.
I don't know how many conversations that has sparked. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that grandbaby. I got a grandbaby too. Oh, you got a grandbaby? Yeah, brand new grandbaby. It's like the family just gets tightened when everyone knows what each other is working for.
Absolutely. It's made that community even more tight-knit, and got us singularly focused on one common goal, and that common goal is experiencing life to the fullest.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Josh, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Episode 3 in the books, part 2 with you. Coach Josh will be back in the near future, that's for sure. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions about Live Healthy Local, Live Healthy Louisville, you make sure you reach out to me at Ryan@resultsbydesignfitness.com. We'd love to see you here at the gym. If you want to try us out for some personal training, you can reach out to me via that email as well. Thank you for listening, and as always, love you too, Coach Josh.
Love you too.
See ya.